to another video on my channel. Today I thought, since it's supposed to be springtime and the weather is supposed to be getting nicer, that today I would do a list of my top 10 favorite grass type Pokemon in honor of spring. I was hoping to go outside soon just because of the weather here in Boston has been very, it's been up and down, but it's this weekend it was supposed to be in the 60s and I was super excited. But then coronavirus hit and we are all supposed to be quarantined. This makes officially 1 week in quarantine where we haven't left the house. And so it's been a little bit rough, but I thought regardless, we're going to keep up positivity and still do this list as if I would be going out in springtime anyway. My top 10 favorite grass type Pokemon, number 10 on this list is Whimsicott. And Whimsicott's on here. I haven't actually used it in person, but I think the design is really, really cute. And I picked this Pokemon primarily because I actually did a video on Whimsicott and Lilligant and what I think their design inspirations are. And that video is also up on my channel. I'll tag it here or down below too. But ever since I did a lot of research on this Pokemon and I looked into all the different layers of inspiration, it made me have a little bit more admiration for it just as a whole. And although the grass type isn't really my favorite typing of all time, it's also fairy, and fairy is also one of my favorite typings. So that's why I put this one at number 10. Number 9 on this list is actually going to be Roselia. I think that this is just a beautifully designed Pokemon, and I know a lot of people like this Pokemon too. I've actually used her before quite a lot, and I liked her. I say her because it's just very feminine. Its evolution, Roserade, is pretty cool too. But I still prefer this design over Roserade just a little bit more. Although it does remind me of Tuxedo Mask and Sailor Moon, and I think that's really cool too. But I know that I've used Roselia more than I have Roserade. I'm a big fan of Hoenn. So when Roselia was like a standalone Pokemon, I still liked it as a standalone. I think giving it evolutions is super interesting too, and I feel like they all look really cohesive, like a good fit, but Roselia is still my favorite out of that whole branch. Number 8 on this list is actually going to be I'm putting the two of them together since they're in the same evolutionary branch. It's going to be Skiddo and Go-Goat. I actually used a Skiddo in my first playthrough of X and Y, and I loved it. I thought it was really cute. I like that it's a riding Pokemon in that game. I think the concept of just sitting on it and using its horns as handlebars is really, really cute. And it was, I don't know, I used it in my first playthrough and I really liked it and I have fond memories of it. I'm not really super into goats. I know people now are really into goat videos online and think they're really cute and stuff. I've never really thought they were cute. I had a friend who actually had a goat farm growing up, and she was kind of like my neighbor. She lived up the street, and all I can remember is there's one time we were all having a sleepover at her house when we were in elementary school, and one of my friends actually hid in the tree above the goat pen, and her ram in the middle of the night, her ram tried eating her clothes, and she was just screaming and she was traumatized. So my memory association with goats is something a little bit more frightening than cute, but hey, it's okay. Skiddo's cute, so that's why I put it at number 8. So number 7, I actually just put the Bulbasaur / Venusaur line. I know a lot of you are probably going to have this Pokemon rated a lot higher than I am. It's just really hard because even though I previously said, I don't really like the grass type. It's not really my favorite. I was surprised to see how many grass type Pokemon I actually really enjoyed. Although I feel like there's a lot of them, more so than other types. But Bulbasaur made it to number 7. Obviously it's a key staple in the anime and TV show. It's got a wonderful diplomatic personality. Actually, I think it wasn't my first video ever on this channel, but I think it was my first makeup video. My second video on this channel is actually just dedicated to Bulbasaur, and I went into depth about how it really fills this role of being a diplomatic character, and that it does have the most loyal personality of all Ash's Pokemon. It's got the best personality hands down, and I think that's why I liked it so much. But at the same time, even when I play games now that are based in Kanto, I still end up picking Squirtle instead, just because Squirtle's my favorite starter. But Venusaur is also really, really cool. It's a giant frog dinosaur grass plant thing, and it's competitively is probably better than the other two, but I don't play competitively, so I'm just kind of basing all these off of aesthetics and design anyway. But yeah, so that's why I ranked it number 7. Great Pokemon, nothing wrong with it. It's just others kind of ranked higher for me. Number 6 is Morlul and Shiinotic. I put, again, putting a line together. I know a lot of people think these are like really, really creepy, but when I saw these, I fell in love. I loved it. I loved the ghosty mushroom kind of vibe. And it is spooky but cute at the same time, and it's really hard to get that balance. And I think that this was a good balance, at least for me, because you could do cute and spooky and like ghost Pokemon pretty easy. Like I think Duskull is a good example of that, but this one is like eerie and cute, which I think is harder to do. And then the Morlul's also in the Detective Pikachu movie, which are so cool. Like, I mean, Bulbasaur looked great in that movie. Like, so many Pokemon look great in that movies too, but Morlul really captured it for me. Like they made that scene just so whimsical looking. I love how whimsical this Pokemon is. It's grass and fairy again. I love fairy types. This combination though is like quad weak to poison, which like sucks. But I just think the aesthetics and the design are super cool for me. It's like complete storybook fairy tale vibe. So number 5 for me is kind of like a controversial Pokemon, I guess, but it's the Lotad line in Ludicolo. I love Ludicolo. I remember seeing like Lotad and Ludicolo in Hoenn, again, a big Hoenn girl, and I picked it up right away regardless of who my starter was. I really liked Lotad. I think it was adorable. It's like this weird frog lily pad chicken thing, and it was just so cute. And then when it evolved into something it's just so ridiculous and it had such a bright personality, like I fell in love with it even more. I really enjoyed the character that was in Pokemon, not Pokemon Stadium, but it was in the sequel, the XD one. It was in both of them. He was in both of them. Never mind. He was in the first one too, the Pokemon Colosseum. But the Mirror B bad guy with all the Ludicolo that would dance and play like samba music and shit. I love that guy. He was great. I mean, obviously he's like a caricature of a type of person. But I think he was so swagged out and like his Ludicolo were amazing. I love Ludicolo's animation of him dancing. I tend to like dancing Pokemon anyway, just because I dance as like a hobby and I used to be on a dance team and everything else. So those kind of Pokemon always pique my interest. The reason I say Ludicolo is a little bit controversial is because some people feel as though he's designed off of like stereotypical like Mexican characteristics with like the sombrero and shit. I mean, obviously, I don't personally have a strong feeling towards it either way. Pokemon has notoriously done stuff like that in the past where they have been like typecasting certain like cultures or people and trying to incorporate them as Pokemon designs. Whether you feel like that's a little bit insensitive or you just feel like, it's just a Pokemon at the end of the day, that's really up to you. I still like Lotad. I still like Lotad and Ludicolo. It's still one of my favorite Pokemon, even though I do recognize that sometimes like people might not share that opinion just because of where they think the design came from, but that's why I ranked it number 5 for me. Number 4 is actually going to be Gloom, and this is one that might surprise a lot of people because I don't really hear a lot of other people say like Gloom is one of their favorite Pokemon of any type, grass types or whatever. But I really like Gloom. I like Vileplume too. Like, I think design wise it's great. But like I said, I've played with Gloom more often than I've played with Vileplume. And I think that, like, for me, and this is going to sound really silly, but when I was first playing Pokemon Go, Gloom was one of my strongest Pokemon in general, and I had a Gloom for a very long time before I had a Vileplume. And I just had, like, even though, it's obviously just, like, a cartoon on your phone or whatever, I had a real strong emotional connection to this specific Gloom. And I think also because of that one episode with Erica's gym in the anime, or Erica's gym being like all female and everybody having to try to cross-dress to get into it, but also like the fact that she praised her Gloom and loved her Gloom even though everybody else thought it was like stinky or whatever or ugly. Like its smell was what made the perfume beautiful, and it was like kind of like looking past skin deep to see beauty in something. And I think like obviously Gloom turns into a beautiful Vileplume. It's like the ugly duckling kind of story, but like for me, what's wrong with being an ugly duckling? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's wrong with like not being conventionally beautiful, even if you're just a flower? So I don't know. That's why I like Gloom a little bit more than Vileplume. I know it's supposed to be about an evolution about like growth or whatever, but I don't know. I don't feel like you personally need to be beautiful to be strong. So that's kind of like why I still lean towards Gloom as opposed to his evolution. Okay, number 3, kind of backtracking on that idea. Number 3 for me is going to be Serena. And this bitch is beautiful. I'm sorry. She's just gorgeous. This is a very humanoid Pokemon, and I know that some people either feel very strongly about humanoid Pokemon, maybe a little too strongly about, humanoid Pokemon, or like some people just absolutely hate them. Like Douglas does not like humanoid Pokemon, and even when he saw it, he's like, "Why does she have your body type though?" I'm like, fair. But I liked Serena. I used Serena in Sun and Moon when I was first playing through it the first time. I never picked Rowlet just because I felt like Rowlet was everybody's favorite. So I picked the other starters going through. I think I picked Popplio first, and then I ended up picking Litten. Just because I felt like Popplio was the least favorite, and I was like, well, whatever. I liked Popplio's evolution too. It was really feminine. But anyway, Serena, you got it as a trade from an NPC, which means it like gained experience really quickly and evolved really quickly, and in and of itself, it's really strong. I liked that it was kind of like a little like teaser thrown in, because at the time X and Y was ending and everyone thought that like Ash and Serena from the anime and the TV show were actually going to like be a official couple, instead of one of those things where it's just like tease between like Ash and like best girl or whatever. But they thought like because Serena was just so in love with Ash, people thought, okay, well, this is going to be the one that Ash picks or whatever, and then it ended up not happening, even though, like, I guess they kissed, but, like, not really. I don't know. I don't really pay too much attention to Poke shippings. I definitely have my biases of who I would rather have Poke ship with who, but anyway, so people thought people were shipping these two really, really hardcore, and then it just didn't happen. And then the following game, they decided to tease that out by naming this Pokemon Serena, as a reference to her, and I thought that was really tongue-in-cheek of Pokemon to do, and I thought it was really funny. And I don't know, that's why I ended up picking this Pokemon, because I like this X. I don't mind humanoid Pokemon. Some of my favorite Pokemon are kind of humanoid, or especially ones that are like overtly feminine. I know that there's like instances of like furries and over sexualization. I mean, not just from furries, but over sexualization of these Pokemon in general, which I don't know. Personally, I feel like that kind of sucks because it doesn't give them a fair shot, as some other designs. But I don't know. I like Serena, so I put her at number 3. She was a good Pokemon, so she's my third favorite grass type. But my number 2 is a Pokemon I feel so strongly about, and I never thought I would feel this strongly about a Pokemon until I started playing Pokemon Go. But I love Tangela. Tangela is just a beautiful design. I didn't really pay much attention to it when I was younger. Like, it was something that flew under my radar, like, okay, whatever. But then I got a Tangela very, very early on in Pokemon Go, and I haven't really caught another one since. I think, like, I'm not a hardcore player. I don't play every day. I play every now and then, especially since, like, quarantine. But I loved my Tangela. It was so unique to my character in my roster, and I had it as my buddy for the longest time. I think it's adorable. Tangrowth, I'm not a huge fan of. I think that they could have done a better evolution for Tangela. It's very stylistically similar to some of the other Sinnoh evolutions that they were giving people, and I understand it's like Tangela is just like mysterious because you don't know what's underneath all those vines and all that hair, right? It's small, it's cute, it reminds me of like a little troll kind of thing. And it's just adorable. I loved it. I'm a hair girl, obviously my roots are showing right now. It's kind of a little rough, but I'm someone who likes doing their hair different things and likes to experiment and all this kind of stuff. So having a Tangela that's just like literally just tangled literally in hair is just it's so cute. It's so perfect for me. And like the thing is, though, with his evolution is literally they just turn into a giant bush with arms, right? I have nothing wrong against Tangrowth. It's fine. If it's your favorite Pokemon, I'm really, really sorry. But I just feel like they could have done more for Tangela. They could have made it something cooler. They could have made it, like, really scary or looking, or really, really cute looking, or, really gone that extra edge. And I feel like they just didn't push themselves enough in a design. They just made another big, bulky Pokemon, which, again, big, bulky Pokemon are some of my favorite designs. Like, hands down, I love me some thick boys, but I just felt like Tangela and Tangrowth, like, I'm gonna pick Tangela every single time. And with an evolution, I would want to be able to see my Pokemon grow and evolve and want to keep it that way. And for me to want to keep it as is a failure on my part. But that's just my opinion. And finally, my number one favorite grass type Pokemon is probably not a surprise for a lot of you if you've seen my top 5, top 10 video of Pokemon and Galar, but I love Appleton. Appleton, I say Appleton, sorry. My Appleton in my game is named Applecoon, so I'm used to referring it that way. But Appleton is just so adorable and perfect. I already talked about the design inspiration in the other video, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have watched other videos talking about Appleton before, and so I don't need to repeat myself to you about like why it's a dragon type. But I just, let alone design wise, it's adorable. It's perfect. It's chunky, it's thick, it's tiny and chunky too, which is the combo you don't really see a whole lot in Pokemon. But I love Appleton. It just embodies everything that's sweet and gooey and warm and just happy, and I love it. It's my highest level Pokemon in the game, actually. And although I know that maybe some people don't use it competitively or whatever, I just love the design so much so that I'm thinking about getting my second Pokemon themed tattoo just around Appleton. And I love it because it's just dopey. It's kind of like a dinosaur dog thing, which is like my two favorite kinds of animals. And they just kind of mash together with like apple turnover or apple pie, which again, I love to bake. It's a new hobby of mine. And if you see my Instagram stories, it's like half the time it's either me trying on Nintendo filters, or just like me baking or some weird ass selfie. Like that's the only content I generate on Instagram. I'm sorry. But like, ugh, it's so cute. And the shiny is like green apple. Like it's just so clever. I'm sorry, it's adorable. Like Flapple's okay. It's again, I like thick boys, you know, like it's just too tiny for me, and Appleton just embodies everything I would want in my form of a grass type Pokemon. Something that's not overtly in your face about being a grass type, but obviously it is. Because I feel like grass types, like if you just make a general plant, it's a grass type, you know, like that's enough. But Appleton is just so unique for me, and it's my favorite grass type Pokemon right now, you know. And when I was making this list, the only two I knew that I felt like super duper strongly about was Tangela and my Appleton. So it was close, but Appleton wins out. So thanks so much for watching. That was my top 10 favorite grass type Pokemon. I hope you really enjoyed it. Let me know if we have any Pokemon that we like in common, and if I left out a Pokemon that you really enjoy and you want to let me know about it, feel free to let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, please go ahead and like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. That really, really helps my engagement, and helps my feed, and helps put my channel out there. Also, in terms of like my analytics, 70% of people who watch my videos aren't subscribed to my channel. So if you're already here and you're already watching some content, feel free to subscribe. I have other videos like this. I just did one about ice types because it was winter time. And I have other ones about Galar. I have Pokemon theories. I have fashiony makeup kind of stuff. And I like fusing the two between like geeky stuff and beauty. So if you're into all that, welcome to the channel and feel free to subscribe. But anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.